Good morning and welcome. Welcome. What a big day. Wow. So Shopify had their summer 23 editions. Obviously, Shopify is a Canadian company, so here in New Zealand it's winter, but they call it summer up there. So huge announcement today. So much to get through. It took me far longer than I thought, even just reading it for the first time myself. I was blown away. There is a lot in there and a lot to unpack. So thanks for joining me today as we go through it, and I'm going to talk through my feedback, my opinion on some of the feedback, some of the features that have come out today, and some of them that are coming out soon, and just to explain to you how they can help your store and help you sort of keep that thought process moving throughout your business and your biz flows. Help with those creative juices and just have a bit of conversation that can help you decide which ones you want to use, which ones you don't want to use, and actually figure out how they can be used in your business process. Some of them aren't New Zealand features, they have some things that are regionally specific, some things they can only do in North America because of the jurisdictions. So there's a few things there that is important for you to know so that you don't rush into them thinking they're amazing features you can use. So let's jump into this. I don't want to waste any more time introducing it because there's just so much to get through. So let me just share my screen. And there you have it. So you can see here the homepage they've got for it. So there's a lot of sort of high-level stuff here at the top. Go to the features, but I'm going to just skip this and jump straight into the bits where it actually talks about it in detail, so we can go through a bit more. So if you've been joining some of my live stream recently, you'll have known that AI has been coming to Shopify. They've been doing a lot behind the scenes to optimize the AI models that are existing and tailoring them to commerce and tailoring them to a way that can just help you get started with certain things, remove some of those creative blocks you have when you sit down to write some product descriptions and things like that. So they've taken that a step further now. We talked a few weeks ago about Sidekick. There's one in the middle here, and so they've just pulled their early announcement into this announcement as well. There'll be a few things in here that we've already covered, but I'll cover them off again. So Sidekick is going to be probably the feature that you interact with the most. It's going to remove any need really for you to click around the interface and do different things, unless you've got some more advanced requirements. But if you're wanting to create a discount code for a particular customer, you're wanting to change certain things on your website, you'll be able to just describe that to the Sidekick and just say, hey, can you make this change for me? Hey, can you do this for me? Similar to what some of you would have done in years gone by with a web designer that you had on a retainer, if back in the days where you couldn't just do it yourself, where you'd have to reach out and go, oh, hey, can you tweak the text on this? Or hey, can you add this image here? Or can you just change the price on this product? Exactly that same kind of language can come across to Sidekick. It's very intentional that they've used the word Sidekick because they want you to think of it as an assistant that you can just say, hey, can you go do this? Can you please do that? Remember, manners are important even with AI. So that's a really cool feature. I'm really excited for that. There's some other things later on, more of a developer stuff, so I'll probably skip over it, but where I think we're going to be able to, as developers, put things into Sidekick and extend it, which is going to bring even more function and features to it, and is going to just make your store so much more streamlined and optimized for your workflows. So they've expanded the generating text side of the AI. So we've had it in days gone for generating titles and product descriptions. Now you can actually bring it into your whole online store. So if you're creating a new banner heading or something like that, like the example here is that you can get different heading examples. You just sort of describe what you're wanting it to be, and then you pick your tone of voice and it will give you some suggestions that you can just drop straight in there. So that's going to make it really easy for a lot of people, because those are sort of jobs that traditionally the great headlines and the ones that capture attention, you have to work with a copywriter, because not everyone understands it. Not everyone's a great writer. There's very much psychology-based ways that you create these headlines, and obviously the AI is not going to be as good as an amazing copywriter, but it is going to be a lot better than most of us are. Most of us are not copywriters. Most of us don't understand the psychology of writing or the emotions of writing. So this is going to be much better than most of us can come up with. So it's going to really make creating new content for your store a lot easier. Something that I talk to a lot of my clients around is keeping reasons for your customers to come back to your site. If your site doesn't change month on month, year on year even, then it's going to just get boring to them. It's going to be too familiar. It's not going to be interesting. There's no reason for them to come back to your site. So they already know what's there, and they know it's not going to change. So the more you can do things like this, the more you can bring in dynamic and changing elements to your website, the more interest there is, the more reason for someone to come back. Even if they just want to see what it is, people want to feel a part of your brand. So if they can see your site changing from season to season, then that helps them feel a part of that journey, because they've seen different variations of your website. They've seen the changes that you've gone through as a business. You're not just this blank slate where they can interact and just purchase from. They actually feel a part of that journey. Got here, basically this one I skipped over just because it's just the high level of everything that's coming. So it's kind of the title one. Create blogs faster. So again, it's just bringing this AI stuff and writing into more parts of the store. So you can, it's similar to this. You can enter your topic, choose your tone, and get some long form blog content. So that's going to be really helpful when paired with a great SEO strategy. So don't just generate blogs for the sake of it. Don't just say, hey, let's make a blog about any random topic that we can think of. Make sure you're following an SEO strategy, and make sure that your site is optimized for SEO, because you don't just want to have random junk content on your website. You want to have stuff that's valuable, you want to have stuff that's interesting, and you want to have stuff that's relevant to your SEO strategy, so that you can help grow your store and increase the traffic that's coming to your site. Shopify Inbox AI is something that's a lot of other chat agents have been able to do for a while. So this is really cool to see this coming into Shopify. It's going to make it a lot easier for people who are wanting to use those native Shopify features. So basically, you can have preset responses for things that are common questions, asking about the different sizes of some clothing, asking about things that are in stock, asking about different pricing, asking about bundles and discounts and all that kind of stuff. Frequently asked questions around the fabrics you're using, around your delivery and shipping, around anything to do with your products or fulfillment process. You can create stuff that's just going to be quick and easy for your customers to get the information. Plus, it reduces the amount of customer support time that you have to spend, because customers don't generally care if they're talking to a human or not. Obviously, there's going to be some particular cases where it is obviously better to have a human, but for the general just inquiries, they just need the information, and they're not going to get grumpy or upset about the fact that this information is instant and it's coming through an AI. It's much better for them to get the information they're wanting. And you can see here an extension of what I just said is, you can generate some FAQs. So based on the questions that are coming through your chat, you can automatically generate some FAQs to get those questions answered, on your product page or something like that. Shopify email, again, same thing. They're bringing in more of the AI, so you can have your subject lines, your text of your emails can come in here. You can optimize the send times based on when people in your industry the different open rates that are trending across your industry. So these insights don't just come from your store, which allows smaller stores, which is a lot of people running on Shopify, to get the expertise and the insight through the AI that these larger corporations are having. So there's going to be a huge boost and a huge feature for smaller businesses because these are things that larger businesses have already been doing, but smaller businesses don't have a large enough data set for it to be useful to them. So this one, obviously, they're bringing that same chat AI response from your store into their help center. So if you're needing help about something that you're wanting to do, you can have that same kind of instant response and useful AI generated response that you can get, that your customers can get, but also you can get when you're wanting to understand how to use Shopify. When you're picking apps now, you'll be able to get an AI-powered review summary. So instead of having to read through hundreds of reviews, you can get a summary that might say, overall the app is good. A few customers have had some issues with the fulfillment features or, the search features or something like that. So it'll help you summarize the reviews without having to actually trawl through all of them. So that was the AI section. Next, we've got some checkout changes coming to Shopify. So you can see here, their big call out is that they have seen that there's a 15% higher conversion on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. So that's going to be something really useful because I know a lot of you have weighed up your options, especially coming to Shopify. People, especially in our region, particularly like to use WooCommerce. People weigh up Squarespace because that's obviously where a lot of you have started your site build. So it's cool to know that not only are you getting an enhanced feature set by coming to Shopify, but you're also getting a higher conversion rate. So then you can actually see that there's a business value in you being here, not just in the time you're saving yourself and the less stress and headaches that you're saving yourself, but also in the dollar value that you're going to be getting by coming to Shopify. So there's a lot of different changes coming to the checkout. They're bringing in these checkout extensions to the Shopify Plus customers. There's a lot of stuff in here that is specific to Shopify Plus. I know that there's been a lot of pushback from the Plus community over the last couple of years, thinking that they haven't really been getting the same amount of updates and the same quality of features as the lower plans have been getting. So there's a lot in here for Shopify Plus. It's going to be really boosting those Plus customers' features, as well as making it a much easier decision for people to spend that extra money. Because for customers that are, for merchants that are trying to grow their stores, Plus is actually worth it, I think. I know it's a large upfront cost per month, but if you fully optimize your business and fully utilize all the tools that you have available, you should be able to make that money back and you should be able to justify that extra spend. So we have this cart transform function has now been released. So it's been in preview for a while. It just means that you can do extra things in your carts, like turning things into a bundle and, changing the way that the line items are displayed. Again, a Plus only feature. A lot of these, just a little caveat, a lot of these checkout ones are Plus only because the customization of checkout is generally something that enterprise customers are more interested in. The rest of us don't really need to have that level of control over our checkout for most of our use cases. So Shop Pay is now a commerce component. So Shop Pay is basically just a way of people storing their cards and comes with a few extra features, like you can do the Shop Pay in installments, which is like an afterpay version. So now people can use that as a component, meaning that they can have it not only on their Shopify themed store, but also on their headless stores and other interactive experiences that they're building. Again, this is more of a higher brand experience. Not a lot of smaller stores will focus as much on the brand experience and go for a fully customized flow and fully customized experience on their store. But for those that are interested in wanting to create a whole brand experience around the purchasing, that's where these commerce components come in. So another Plus feature is extending the checkout with apps. So it's just giving more features to apps to embed themselves into the checkout, to add different things in, like the custom install pickups, some loyalty points, product recommendations, and upsells and custom content. So it's just allowing developers to bring more into the checkout and customize the checkout a bit more. There's another stat here. So they've seen that Shop Pay increases conversion by up to 50%. Again, that is because of the way that they store the cards and a way that they speed up the checkout flow. So obviously the less friction there is on a checkout flow, the higher your conversion rate is going to be, which is why the statistic is so high. Another Plus feature here is to have some customized delivery methods. So if someone's picking the shipping method, their example here is that they can choose their delivery date. So they might want a particular day for delivery, especially for larger items that they want to be home to receive and check for damages, etc. Another plus feature here is you can have some address validation in the checkout. So you could suggest a close store for pickup to their address. If you can see that they're less than 1 kilometer or 2 from the store, then you might want to suggest that rather than them pay for shipping, that they can actually just pick it up because it's not very far away from the house. Obviously, that's going to be better for the environment as well as saving everyone a whole heap of hassle. Custom fonts and checkouts for Plus customers as well. So again, like I said, those enterprise customers really want to have a lot more control over the look and feel of the checkout flow. So now they can bring in custom branding and custom fonts into that. So just really enhance their brand experience the whole way through. And again, just another developer preview feature coming into full release for Shopify Plus is some cart validation. So it can be really important for those enterprise stores that are doing big flash sales to be able to validate inventory multiple times throughout the checkout flow. So now you've got more options and more connectivity into there. So now we move on to this next section, sell to every customer. So this one is a lot around B2B and international audiences, as well as some stuff for the point of sale system. So there's some cool updates coming to the point of sale system. One of my favorite features here is this drag and drop for custom layouts and flexible sections. So there's going to be a new update coming to the online store editor. Those of you who are more familiar will know that you can go into your back end and you can customize your theme and you don't have to make any code changes. So this is just making that a lot more flexible. So we saw a big change to this a couple of years ago when we got the theme 2.0 and we got the flexible, we got the sections and app blocks that could be embedded throughout this page. Now we have flexible sections, which allows you to actually just move things around more naturally. There's been ways of doing this through config options and stuff, but it's been very, you select the drop down, you select which size or layout you want, and it's very clunky, I guess, as an experience. Whereas being able to just drag it around and adjust the sizes as you wish, as you can see in this little animated graphic here, is going to be a much more natural way to interact and change your store. You can now also in that editor preview sections and draft content. So you might have a blog that's not actually live yet that you want to see how it looks. You might have some products that you're building out a new product page template for a new launch of a product, and you can actually do that now without having to have your product live. And then you can actually now, this is a really cool one, is you may have seen this feature got released a couple of days ago, is that in that custom store editor, in the online store editor, you can choose which audience is viewing that page, and so you can edit a page based on that. So you could have a different page for a different country, as you can see here, or you can have specific ones for your B2B channel if you're on Shopify Plus. So this is really cool because it's something I talk about a lot, is how you need to be selling to more audiences and expanding your market. The world is much smaller than it ever has been from a commerce perspective, and it's so easy for people to shop around the world. I'm sure you yourself have bought things that have been shipped from overseas to New Zealand. So you should be doing the same thing for your customers, and you should be reaching a bigger audience. Obviously, New Zealand is a very small place. Even just shipping and selling to Australia, massively increases the size of your potential audience. And so you can, scale your business up a lot easier by just having a larger audience. You don't have to do specifically different things to increase the size of your target audience. If you're trying to optimize and improve the size of your store just in New Zealand, you've still got the same size pool. You're just trying to get a larger share of that pool. If you just increase the pool and do very little else, you can increase the size of your business drastically. So it's a very low friction way for you to start growing your business without necessarily having to, worry about those little minor tweaks around, an extra 0.5% conversion or something like that. If you can, go to Australia, and obviously you're going to have to launch in that market and do some marketing and get some brand awareness going, but you're going to be able to, have multipliers on your audience size. New Zealand's 5.5 million. Australia is far larger than that. I don't even know exactly how large Australia is. Let's have a look. So 25.7 million essentially. So 5x almost, 4 to 5x the size of New Zealand. So, why wouldn't you want to expand your business there, especially when they're so close? But, don't stop there. We'll actually come back to it later in here. There's some changes to the way that the Shopify tax works in in America. Start shipping to America, start shipping to Europe. Shopify makes it so easy for you to expand your customer base that there's really no reason not to now. This is another cool one coming to the sections, is you can have a color scheme. You can see here, and they're just changing it based on, the whole components changing by selecting different color schemes. So it's a really fun way, an easy way to bring different styles and different layouts to your store without having to do a lot of different customization. At the moment, a lot of the theme colors are quite rigid, and you're really up to the mercy of the theme developer as to how much you can customize them. So once we get this and we can actually have color schemes that change per component, it's going to be a lot more powerful, because at the moment it's very limited in the way that can happen. Custom landing pages powered by Meta Objects. So Meta Objects are something that have been coming in more and more to Shopify, which is, you can understand that it's them trying to give us more flexibility and more customization without cannibalizing the entire system. So this is going to be something that is going to come in more over the next couple of years as they start to integrate more with external content systems. So there's a few coming into the Plus offering at the moment. I'd say that we're a little while away, not very far away from all of us having access to those kinds of features, as Shopify just simply isn't a strong content system at the moment, but they need to be. Content is a big part of an online store these days, and so I can see that feature is going to have to come to everyone, or they're going to have to just increase their base functionality a lot. But I think because of all these meta objects that are coming in, it's allowing you to get ready for when that content can be managed externally. Filtered by meta fields in the admin. So this is really cool, because as you bring in more of these custom meta objects, you're going to have specific things in your products that you need to be able to help you, find those products based on what data is being stored in them. So being able to filter by the meta fields is going to make it a lot easier. It's also then allows you to have, that meta field doesn't have to be front facing. It could be private to you in the admin, in which case by having these meta fields is you can actually create your own custom ways of filtering your products and custom groups to your products that aren't pulling through to the front end and changing the way that the layout or the products are listed in the front end. Shop theme updates and bring your store to life. I'm not actually sure what this one is, but based on the image, I'd say it looks like they're bringing in more, animations. So there's going to be a lot more animations coming into your store. Again, this has been something that you can do at the moment, but it is reliant on your theme that you're using. And generally, I've found that the themes that are doing it haven't been very well optimized. So it means that you're going to be taking a potential speed score impact. So having these coming in at a more native level to Shopify is going to allow developers to then use more optimized options and not have to suffer those speed score impact. Theme header customizations. Again, this one's been in a little while, where you can actually add apps into your theme header now. So we're going to start to see a lot higher quality themes coming across the store, I think, with more customization available to them. For those of you that are building on headless, again, this is a plus feature. They're just increasing the speed that you can start building and your development flows for that. So this one I'm really interested to see about. So introducing a Shopify subscription app. Many of you are on subscription apps, and it's been something that Shopify has been working on for a while in terms of allowing people to build on top of Shopify and increase the features that Shopify has allowed subscription apps to build without having to remove them from Shopify. But previously, a couple of years ago, all the subscription apps had to run through their own checkout, external Shopify. So it kind of broke the Shopify flow. Whereas now, because they introduced the subscription APIs, you can have a subscription through the native checkout. Now it seems that they're cannibalizing those products a little bit by introducing their own subscriptions app. I think that it isn't necessarily so. Like I just said that they are cannibalizing apps. That is how it seems. I don't think that they actually are cannibalizing the apps. Shopify's recent approach seems to be that they want to give customers a very simple and accessible way to access a lot of these features, but they won't necessarily have the full functionality that most businesses will require, or that a lot of larger businesses will require. I work with a few different food subscription apps, for example, and it's very tricky to get the right subscription app for those. I also working at the moment with a toothbrush company who are offering the heads for the toothbrush as a subscription alongside the toothbrush. So there you have a subscription for one product on a different products page. And that one has been quite a tricky challenge to solve because most people, or most of the apps, just have the subscription for the product that you're currently viewing. You can't link them and embed them somewhere else. So that's a little bit of a custom feature we've had to build for them. The Shopify app, I'm assuming, is probably not going to be able to cater to those kinds of use cases. So it's going to be really cool for people who just want to start with subscriptions and start selling their product, like this fizzy water one they've got here. It's not a complex product. You're just simply allowing people to buy it automatically, essentially. So I think this is a really cool step for Shopify. Generally, when Shopify does this and introduces their own app into a category, it lifts the bar of everyone else because you can't just have a really shitty app in that category anymore because the Shopify option is so much better quality. So this is a really good positive I see. Likewise with this bundles app. So this one has been around for a little while. They're now saying it's in full release. I don't really know what they mean by that because it has been in full release for a little while. I think they're just properly announcing it this time. So same kind of thing is that there's been bundling apps in the past. This one now will allow people to get started with it a lot easier. And then the apps will just be for those more custom features that you're wanting. So more options for combination discounts. This is a really cool one because it's not been possible to have, like a site-wide discount applied with like a one-off discount that you might have given a customer through like a loyalty program. It's not been possible for them to combine those at the same time. So they've had to choose which discount they wanted to apply. So it's cool that they're now giving us more flexibility for this discount stacking in different combinations. It also means that someone could potentially have a discount off a particular item as well as like a free shipping discount. So they're just expanding the Shop Pay installments. This one is, yes, America only. So this is just their Afterpay feature. Local pickup now available in draft orders, so you can create draft orders and put pickup into it. So this one's particularly helpful for people that are taking orders over the phone or via chat, or perhaps I've got a customer who's emailed them and they're struggling. Some older customers that are not as technology aware struggle with checkout flow and just they're not comfortable with putting in their details and stuff like that. So you can. They might send you an email, they might call you, they might come in and see you in person. So you can create this and you can actually add the pickup in. So again, it's just giving those features that we've come to be used to having, but across everywhere. Customer account API for headless stores. So again, this is just giving more connectivity to the headless stores, the more custom stores. So it's allowing them to use a bit more of the base functionality of Shopify. So this is a cool one. It's not huge in New Zealand at the moment, but I think it's going to become a bigger one going forward, especially given what I just said around selling around the world. So now you can actually manage all your listings from places like Amazon. Do they? They don't specifically. The one I saw. Oh, yeah. There we go. So Amazon, Walmart, eBay. So if you're selling across multiple places, which it makes sense to be doing, then you can actually manage it all from Shopify. So you don't have to go into each of those systems. So again, it's just Shopify making it easier for you to get your stuff out there and to sell more without having to do a huge amount of work. So again, another one for the headless stores. So endless limitless storefront API. So it just means that those custom stores they're building don't have any limits on how many times they can be accessed. So generally these have been quite high limits, but people that are doing flash sales that are selling, millions of dollars of stuff within, a few hours or an hour, you can start to run into limits, and the store can start to get slowed down because there's just too many people using it. So they've now removed that, which is an interesting one, because to remove that means that Shopify has full confidence in their own infrastructure. So that basically is a really interesting one for the rest of us, because while I don't know if any of you that have actually run into issues with your site going down, or your site having slower performance because of Shopify, but it shows that Shopify is really putting their money where their mouth is now, because they're saying, hey, you can go as crazy as you want and we're going to handle it. And so that one I found really interesting. It's a very subtle way for them to announce it, but from a developer's perspective, it really shows confidence in their own platform, which is cool. So you can now have more than 100 product variants. Again, this is a very rare one, but there is people who do need a lot of variants of a single product. Yeah, so online stores load fast around the world. So if they haven't said exactly where, they just say 30% faster. I know a couple of years ago they said they wanted to get it down to within 3 milliseconds, I think, of every customer. So it'll be interesting to know what the actual latency is like. Enhanced retail management for staff. So this is a Shopify point of sale feature. So that basically just gives you more function and feature within the point of sale system. You can limit what certain staff have access to. You can allow sales to be attributed to certain staff. So just a little bit more control for the retail side of things. So the Shopify Search and Discovery app now has more filters and ways of managing large product categories. That's more of an app update. Shopify Markets Pro is now allowing Shop Pay and shipping options to be in there. So that's pretty cool to see them expanding the Shopify Markets. Streamlined inventory management within the point of sale. So you can just sort of see a bit more information from the point of sale. This one's interesting. I feel like this one is an understated announcement. So they're bringing in some new technical features to the way that they're loading your website, essentially. So it's giving you a much, but I'm trying to find a way to word this non-technically. It's basically they've just improved the way that they're loading the website to make it much, much faster. So like I said, it's a very understated announcement, and I guess they probably the same as me struggled to find a non-technical way to explain what they've done there, but this is a very cool announcement. Just a Canadian update, point of sale stuff. So this one's kind of cool. Is one particular thing I liked in here was saying you can refund to existing gift cards. So like customizing the printed receipts has been a feature that came out a little while ago. Likewise with the pickup locations, but refunding to existing gift cards is kind of cool. So basically you could start to build out a system where your customers keep an in-store credit through having gift cards. So you could even create that as like a loyalty system within your point of sale. So it's a cool one. For Australia, they now have the EFTPOS payments in the POS. That's for people that are using kind of like these integrated POS systems like they've got on this side here. Obviously, if you were running your own EFTPOS in your store, you can just accept it as a payment that way. You don't have to run the payments through the point of sale system. So this is a big one in terms of a step forward for Shopify, because obviously using a native integrated point of sale system is going to be a little bit easier and less hardware cost for you. But in terms of day to day, most people are going to be running with EFTPOS already. So now they've actually, this is kind of a good one. So that Afterpay stuff we talked about is now available in the point of sale system. I don't know if it's available again, because the other one was only in America. I assume this one probably is too. It doesn't explicitly stay on their website. But yeah, we can probably assume that one is going to be America only for now. This one's kind of cool is that they've got some new POS workflows. Um, and basically, I think they're going to be bringing more customizability to the point of sale system. So you're going to be able to start to bring more apps in there in a more integrated way. I know that the point of sale system can be a bit clunky. So again, this is an announcement that's pretty understated, but I think it sort of talks to what's to come. So a lot more retail stuff going to be coming down the line, I think. App development, I'm going to skip because that's more of a me thing than a you thing. I imagine if you're a developer, you're probably not watching this. If you are, reach out. Shop channel. So this is the Shopify native app that you can use to allow people to buy, from their mobile phone in a native way. So this is pretty cool. They're giving more customizing options for it. And you can also do these offers to try and increase conversions without having to, give those discounts to the existing customers. I think Shopify Cash is probably an American-only feature as well, so small caveat there. So you can, this is kind of cool, especially you see this live shopping one. So they're bringing in some kind of mobile only shop the Instagram, special offers for phone or for the mobile app only. So they're giving you ways to have more native experiences on the shop app. So that's pretty cool. This one's a very handy one, is that, obviously it's going to be easier for you to capture reviews from the app because you can send push notifications to your customers. So any app that you're capturing there can now actually be pushed out across the rest of your channels. So you can capture the apps through the customers who are coming through the shop app, but then you can display them on the website to help build that social trust. And this is just a case study. Engage your audience with AI and tailored discovery. So this is cool. This is something that actually has been sitting there for a little while. I don't know if they had released it, but I remember seeing the CEO of Shopify announcing it a few months ago. So now people can actually have a conversation with an AI chatbot around what they're wanting, and then it can surface products on your store for them. So just more sign-in options to give them an accelerated checkout flow. And then some marketing features. So these marketing features are really interesting. I think there's a lot of stuff you can see in this new Shopify announcement for marketing to sort of show you where they're going with the platform. And the Shopify marketing tools have always been a really strong reason why I've advocated for customers to be using, for merchants to be using Shopify, especially over other brands. And it's part of my thesis of why every business should be on Shopify, because the marketing stack is amazing, and every business is selling something. Every business needs to be marketing themselves in some way. So why not come to Shopify and make use of all these tools? So my site, Better Digital, is on Shopify for that exact reason. I'm not selling anything specifically through the checkout at the moment, but it allows me to use these marketing tools, and it allows me to be actually using the platform properly. So there's some cool stuff here around the new Shopify apps that they've had come out here. So they've got their email one that's been out for a little while, obviously, and chat. They've introduced a forms one recently. They've got the segmentation one. So they've got some really cool tools to help you really understand you and get in front of your customers. You can have multiple forms across your store with special fields, specific fields that then comes into first party data, essentially. So you can be capturing people's preferences. You can be capturing their birthdays or phone numbers, whatever you're wanting to be capturing, their pet's name, what kind of pet they've got, whatever's relevant to your store, their taste preferences for foods, all that kind of stuff. And that really helps you then, especially when you bring it back into the segmentation in the email, is so you can be sending emails to people that only have dogs, or people that only like to eat, or not only like to eat, but people that really like to eat spinach, or whatever you've captured in that data. People that are only born in August, whatever you really feel like, you go, you can send out an email campaign. It's like, hey, it's your birthday month, whatever you feel like segmenting on, and whatever's relevant to your audience, you can now do in here, which is really cool. Forms has been something that hasn't had a lot of great third-party apps at times. There's been ones that have sort of worked, but they've not felt easy. So it's cool to see Shopify taking charge there and bringing in this Forms app. The Collabs network, this is one that's been around for a little while. So they've recently, in the last few months, updated this so that the collaborators can come in much easier to start finding products. And so they're making it really easy for you to get started selling your products through the network. So I really recommend that anyone sign up for this, because, if you can have some people that want to advocate for your product, then why not have them advocating for your product? So sign up for it, even if you're not going to actively be trying to put it out in front of people. Shopify is trying to get more collaborators onto the network anyway. So there's a chance that there's going to be people who will find your products and start selling your products on your behalf without you even having to do any work. So sign up for it, even if you don't plan on actively using it. Just another success story here. Just some more headless store stuff for Shopify Plus. So this one I found interesting a few weeks ago when they announced it is this high volume pricing. Obviously, custom email templates is great as well, but this high volume pricing, because that shows that there's some really big stores using Shopify email. A lot of people think that Klaviyo is the gold standard, or they might think of more old school options. People that brands that have been around a lot longer, like MailChimp or something. But Shopify email having this high volume pricing really shows that there is obviously some big stores using Shopify email, which shows that you can too, because if they can get the amount of customization and flexibility out of the platform to run their big campaigns, then why can't you? More segmentation filters. Obviously, we talked about this up here with the segmentation app. Sync and sell products on TikTok. So this is a cool one. TikTok and short form video in general is a really important part of your marketing strategy these days. Don't think that you have to jump on and dance around with your products. There's many ways to do short form video, many ways to be selling on TikTok. And it works in well with obviously this Shopify collaborator stuff that we talked about earlier. So now you can have people click straight through from a video straight through to your product and buy it. So that's a really important way to increase your traffic. And you've got pretty good conversion rates generally with those. Searching customer chats. This is a real handy one. You have a customer who comes in and they say, "Oh, hey, I talked to you about this." You can't find that chat. You're trying to remember what that conversation was. Being able to search through the customer chat is going to be really helpful. Segmentation into apps. So this is one that, again, is more of a developer thing, but it shows you something that you should be thinking of when you start to pick new apps over the coming months. Are they going to be building into my segmentation? Because basically, is the data that they're going to be capturing or creating going to be useful for me in my marketing campaigns? The more connected your marketing data can be, the better it's going to be for your business. Audiences version 2.0 is interesting. This is for ads, so they're pooling ad data together from different stores and anonymizing it so that you can try to get in front of audiences without necessarily having to be the biggest company. So it can cut your acquisition costs. So the reason it can cut your acquisition costs by up to 50% is that because Shopify's got more of a niche targeting, you're not being real broad with your ad sets. So you're not serving your ads to a heap of people that aren't going to be interacting with it, because you've still got to pay for those impressions. So it can cut your customer acquisition costs because it's giving you a more narrow audience to display those ads to, therefore decreasing the amount of cost involved. Automation template. So this is the one that I really found interesting. So this is, remember I said at the start of this section that I can see a lot of where Shopify's going through these updates. So there's some really cool stuff here with automation that I think we're going to see a lot more of. So their examples here is automated SMS, web push, and email marketing through apps like Aftership, Push Out, and Seguno, and new templates highlighting each one. So they're giving you one-click options, essentially, to set up these amazing integrations and automations that traditionally would take a lot of work would often need to have some developer input and would generally need you to go searching for it. You'd have to go out and discover these apps. You'd have to find these use cases, and you'd have to, brainstorm for yourself how they're valuable to your business. By having these templates and these integrations here at a very simple native level, it allows your business to grow effortlessly. It allows you to explore new ideas, allows you to test things out, try them. You don't necessarily have to have a win every time. You can try out some push marketing, you can try out some SMS marketing, and you can just see what works. You can see which one has the best ROI. You can see if all of them have a good ROI. And because it's not taking you the same amount of time to set up and try to get it running, then these are effortless campaigns and effortless changes you can make to your store to try and grow your business. So these automations I'm really excited about. I think they're going to become a huge part of Shopify going forward, especially in use with their segmentation and their AI. Pixel updates. So Shopify added in a way of adding in particular tracking stuff over the last probably 6 months. So there's just some updates there around the different events you can be tracking. Shopify exclusive features like product drops on YouTube. So this is similar to the TikTok selling, but Shopify has an exclusive contract with YouTube so that you can tag your products into the videos, and unless you're on Shopify, you can't do that. So again, it's important to be doing these short form videos as part of your content, and the better integration you can have, the better for your conversions. Keep a copy of order related transactional emails. So if you're sending off confirmation emails or fulfillment emails, sometimes it can be handy to keep a copy of those yourselves so that you actually have a timeline of all interactions with a customer. So you can now have that option. Privacy and compliance app. So this one is, again, a very understated feature for Shopify. When I'm talking to customers around whether they should be using WooCommerce or Squarespace or Adobe Cloud, a big thing that comes into it is the simplicity and the privacy of Shopify. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to stress about it. I've had clients that have come across from WooCommerce because their sites got hacked, their databases got leaked, and they had to go and tell their customers that all their private information, their addresses, had all been shared publicly on the internet. That's not good for your customer relations. When that has happened, a good chunk of those customers didn't come back, and it was a very hard thing for that business to go through because they didn't have a huge customer base. They weren't a huge business. So that made a big impact to their bottom line. And simply coming over to Shopify got rid of all that stress for them. They don't have to worry about whether their site's going to get hacked. They don't have to worry about the hosting and all that stuff behind the scenes. They don't have to worry about their GDPR compliancy if they're selling in the EU. They don't need to worry about their sales tax if they're selling in the United States. Shopify removes so much of the headache and the stress from running a small business and running a big business. So these updates here to the Shopify Privacy and Compliance app are really great because it shows that Shopify is keeping up to date with all the changes that are happening throughout privacy globally. Even New Zealand has some great new privacy laws that have come into effect over the last few years, and most businesses are unaware of that. They're not aware of how they should be sharing or saving their customer data. So it's really cool to have someone like Shopify supporting your business and not having to rely on keeping up to date with all the different jurisdictions and all the different privacy laws around the world. So very cool update. Again, a very understated update. Improve analysis with Google Analytics 4. So this is a semi-minor one. So Google actually shut down Google Analytics 3 a few months ago. It's been coming for a long time, and everyone's been waiting for Shopify to finally build their native integration. Turns out it wasn't actually Shopify that I think that we were waiting on because it's a part of the Google app. So I think maybe it was Google that Shopify was waiting on. So you just have to install the Google Sales Channel and connect it to your analytics account, and then you're all good to go. Visually rich product imagery with Google AI. So they are allowing you to use the Google AI product to generate images. So it's an interesting one there because it kind of shows a little bit of a partnership perhaps with Google AI. So we may start to see more of Google's AI in here. And I guess you could probably assume from that it's Google's AI that is running the Commerce AI behind the scenes. So yeah, very interesting little tidbit. New attribution models and activity report to analyze your marketing campaigns. So again, just more information to help you understand where your customers are coming from, where sales are coming from, and see which marketing campaigns are being effective. B2B selling is a very much Shopify Plus feature. Sorry, B2B selling is a Shopify Plus only feature. So I'll skip through a lot of this as it won't be super relevant to a lot of you, but basically B2B selling is a Shopify Plus feature, and as I think that more and more people should be using Shopify Plus, I think that this is an important piece to take it to be aware of. And B2B selling is something that many of you have talked to me about, and you've tried to get different wholesale apps to run, and they haven't quite fulfilled your needs. They haven't really given your B2B customers a great experience. And so I think it's really worth considering the upgrade to Shopify Plus, specifically to get access to these features. So there's some cool, simple features here that are coming through from the mainstream Shopify platform. So vaulted credit cards, obviously, so people can save the credit card so that they can pay an invoice without having to enter their details again. Company account requests, so using the Shopify Forms plugin that we talked about earlier, people can now request and they can apply to have a wholesale account. And then when you've approved them, all of that information comes into the new company profile, so you don't have to copy and paste and manually do any of that. You've got volume pricing here, so you can encourage people to be buying more and obviously saving some money there. We have a Drake related just little piece of case study here. Quick order lists, so you can make it real easy for your wholesale customers to be placing their orders nice and quickly. No one wants to be stuffing around with orders. They just want to be sending their request in as quick as possible. You've got some cool automation stuff in here with Shopify Flow, so that you can reduce the amount of your admin that you're having to do with your B2B customers. You can use the Shopify Collective to be selling other brands, so you can actually build a store for your wholesale customers that doesn't just do your products. So you might want to sell some kind of office consumables or something that are complementary, so that while they're placing orders with you, they can just place it all in one place. So if you know that your customers have a very specific set of needs that you're not catering to, that most of your customers or a lot of your customers would be going somewhere else to get anyway, then why not bring that all into your store and just simplify it for you and for them. So you can now have purchase orders within the checkout on B2B, which is very handy. Obviously, B2B needs purchase orders for most of their orders, so makes it much easier. They now have a wholesale migration tool, which is kind of cool. So if you were previously on the wholesale channel, then you can actually import all your stuff into the new features nice and easy, so you can get off that one before they shut it down. And PayPal payments on B2B. So if any of your customers prefer to pay their invoices through PayPal, you can now do that through the B2B platform as well. Manage Your Money I'm going to skip over because it is not in New Zealand, but it allows you to get Shopify credit card and Shopify funding, so you can manage, kind of like having a little Shopify bank almost. But yeah, we don't have access to that just yet, unfortunately. Orders and fulfillment. So there's been some interesting changes here around the order routing. This has been coming out recently. They're also trying out, like, the Shopify shipping is their fulfillment system. So you can now, have your label purchasing and stuff you can do through there. So by purchasing the boxes and stuff in bulk, you can obviously save some money. You can have automatic return rules so that you can get, rather than having to have manual processes for your returns, you can get automatic returns based on what they're doing. Again, this is all Shopify shipping stuff, which is really useful for you if you're wanting to sell in North America, and I think Europe as well, is that you can then just be sending it to the Shopify Fulfillment Center, and now you can get reduced rates with DHL Express. This is just a programming side of things. Delivery status for your orders is quite handy, especially because if you're shipping things around the world, you're not going to know, they're going to have different shipping pathways to what we're used to in New Zealand. They're going to go from big warehouse to big warehouse. So it's handy to know, exactly where things are going and actually manage it within the inventory, within the admin, and seeing whether they've been intended to be delivered. Was the client not home? Was the customer not home or not? Splitting and merging fulfillments is quite important, especially if you have inventory in multiple locations, and you don't have the same inventory in every location. So you can split orders automatically from a single order, which just really helps to manage that. You can actually update the customer when certain items have shipped rather than having to ship it all in one go. You can obviously do now some carbon offsets as well if you want to be adding that carbon neutrality into your store as well. And then they've just done some sort of quality of life improvements, some everyday changes. So they've got a new design for the admin. They seem to be moving away from their sort of Shopify green and just going into sort of more blacks and grays. I guess it allows you to have a little bit more streamlined app and a little bit less visual load, so you can just focus on what you're doing. Some good stuff for moving around multi-stores now. This one came out a few months ago, is comparing your analytics to similar businesses in your industry. So it allows you to sort of get a benchmark without having to actually see their numbers. The search in the admin has been really cool. So it allows you to sort of find, so you can see they're searching up SAL here for the Sally Smith, and they can see her recent order, they can see her profile, or they can see products or whatever. So it can be really handy for finding whatever you're looking for across your store. Customizing your orders, your reporting and analytics is quite a good one. You can bring the metrics to the top that you actually care about. You can hide certain metrics that you aren't interested in, and it just really makes it easier for you to understand where your business is going, because whilst this view here has only got 6 cards in it, the actual analytics page itself is quite long and you have to scroll. So bringing charts next to each other that you want to be able to compare is really important. Shopify QL Notebook. So if you're on Plus and you want to bring in other data, if you're tracking data in other locations, you can bring it all into Shopify and query it all together. The Shopify mobile app. So this is an important one because a lot of people have really asked about that. The Shopify desktop experience is great, but the mobile experience has been pretty terrible. So we've been kind of forced to use a laptop for most of your sort of day-to-day runnings of the store. Now they're going to give you a lot more product creation features, and they've optimized the layout of this. I was actually on here this morning on my phone making a few changes, and yeah, as I said, it's actually usable now on your phone, which is great. So the Built For program came out a few months ago. So Built For Shopify is a standard that apps have to go through, and it's a little bit of a harder criteria for them to pass. And it just basically allows you to then find better quality apps, because you can filter by those apps in the App Store, and you can see, okay, well, these ones have been vigorously tested by the Shopify team, and you can see that they're going to be a much nicer experience for you and your site. They've upgraded their business support, which is another good one, because a lot of people have found that quite frustrating at times, and you now have support in multiple languages. And Shopify Flow has come to everyone. So Shopify Flow is the automation suite. When it first came out, it was only a Plus feature. So it's really cool seeing that it's coming down to even people on the basic plan. Automation is a really important feature set for Shopify, and it's one that I can see them, doing a lot more with in the future. So there we have it. That is all of the updates. Like I said, it was a huge update. That took us about an hour to go through, and we skipped over a few. So summary for me, there's a few things that are missing that I wanted to see more of, I think, in here, to be honest with you. But there's some new things here that I wasn't expecting. This Shopify Sidekick stuff that got released a few weeks ago, or announced a few weeks ago, is going to be something really huge, and is something that I'm very excited about. I think it's going to improve everyone's experience on their store. It's going to make things a lot easier for a lot of merchants. Something that's important to me as a vendor, I guess I am, is to educate my merchants. I want you to be empowered to grow your store by yourself. You shouldn't need to come for me for updates, because Shopify makes it easy, and it's just a learning piece. You just need to understand what you can do so that you know that you can do it. Now having this Sidekick is going to make it even easier, because not only will it make it easier for you to create and do things on your store, because you can just ask it to make these changes for you, and you can ask it, how things need doing. But you can ask it what's possible. You can say, hey, can I do this? Or how would I do this? Or can I do this way? Combined with the AI that they've now got in the Help Center, is you're going to be able to actually get answers to your Shopify questions much easier. So you're going to say, hey, is it possible for me to create a bundle out of these products? Or how would I create a discount for this customer, because it's a little bit weird in the way they want to do it? Or, all those different use cases that pop up when you're running a store. Like, I think from a high level, running a store seems really simple. You just collect orders from your customers and you send them out. But in the day-to-day of running a store, there's lots of little small things that pop up that are just, a little bit weird and a little bit hard to cater to at times. So I think having these AI tools are going to be really helpful, because you can actually just ask the tool what's possible, and you can sort of get some instant feedback. And I think those fast feedback loops are really important, especially when building your business. Your business needs to be able to pivot, and needs to be able to, respond to certain events and move quickly. So I think these AI tools are going to become a very important part of your workflow day to day. And then combined with things like, the shop change here, but I was going to specifically call out this online editor change. I think combined with things like that, there's the animation stuff that hasn't been highlighted at the top here. Shopify Collective is a big one to bring more products into your store. And I think, is it in the summary? This is just the summary at the top. No, it's not. But let me go down to it. It was in marketing, actually. Yeah, Collabs Network. Really, really, really want to encourage you. I know I do this every week to use this Shopify Collabs Network. I think I need to do a bigger piece on this for how much I talk about it. But it's a really big opportunity for a lot of your businesses, especially when you combine it with the likes of the selling products on TikTok and selling products on YouTube Shorts, because those Shopify collaborators that you're going to find through the Collabs app are going to want to create videos. And if they can tag your products in it, it's going to be better for you and them. The benefit. The benefit of the Collabs network is that those creators want to create your videos and create conversions for your store, because it allows them to generate income. Obviously, there's a lot of people want to be influencers, and they need to make an income off it. they can't do this for free. And it's been quite hard for up and coming collaborators to find those brand deals and to be able to make that money and create a business out of what they do. So now this collaborators network really just gives them more incentive, because the better they do for you, the more money that they can make. And it's a win-win for both of you, because you get a new audience, you get free marketing content made. I mean, you're giving a commission, I guess, but essentially free marketing content. And yeah, you're helping out someone else who's getting started on their journey, or they may not be getting started. You might find a huge influencer, in which case your business is going to go crazy, which is amazing. So I really see no downside to the collaborators network. There's incentive on both sides for it to work. It's a really well-balanced business deal, and it's a really easy business transaction because you don't actually have to do any negotiations with them. So work out what your customer acquisition costs are at the moment, and work out how much that customer is worth to you. So the delta there is that, that's how much is it costing you currently, and then how much could it cost you? How much would you be prepared to spend? And then look at that as a percentage of your average order cost to work out what your commission rate you can set for the collab network is. Obviously, the higher the commission you can give, the more likely you're going to get more customers. Another interesting stat that I'd look at is your lifetime value of a customer, or how many orders that customer places, because obviously that collaborator is only going to be earning commission on that first sale. I think, yeah, it must be, because that would be weird. It would be very lucrative for them otherwise. So you're only paying them on that first sale. So, work out how much that customer is worth to you in the long term, or work out, not every customer is going to make 5 purchases. A lot of them will just make 1. So work out what your ratio is. Do you have 80% one-time customers? Do you have 50% one-time customers? And then also look at the strategies that you can implement to improve those. How can you win back those customers? How can you keep them coming back to buy more things from you? Because the more frequently you can get those customers to buy, the more valuable that collaborators' efforts are to you. In which case you can increase the conversion rate, increase the commission rate, because if they can bring in, 1,000 new customers, and that those 1,000 customers are going to place 5 orders, then you don't care if you pay them 80% of that first order. You can run it at a loss really for that first order, because that it's going to be so much more valuable to you in the long run. So that's why it's really important to understand your numbers. Because then you can figure out things like that. Because if you can go to a collaborator and you can say, hey, I'll give you 50%, even 30%, 40%, which is a lot of money. Don't feel like you have to see your bar this high. But if you know your numbers and you know that you can afford 30% on that first order, then shit, they're going to go crazy. Because if they can make $30 out of every $100 that they get through your store, then they're incentivized to send thousands of dollars through your store, because they could be making a huge amount of money per month. And that the more money they're making, then the more content they're going to be creating for you. Because, the way that the social algorithms work is that old content doesn't get surfaced. You've got to be posting new content for it to be getting seen by your audience. So if they're wanting to continuously make a good amount of money off you, then they're going to want to be continuously sending you new customers. So that's what I mean about it being a really well-balanced partnership, because they have to keep doing the work in order to give you those customers, but you can be making that money for a long period of time. So you can make it worth both of your whiles. And if you've got them creating content on one platform, you can share that across other platforms. You can share that across your newsletter. You can really take advantage of the content they're creating. And that's, like, we've been talking about this from the perspective of one collaborator. You could have hundreds of collaborators, and just think about what that would work for your business. You think about what having, even just 10, if you had 10 content creators creating content for your business every month, let's just say a minimum of 1 a month. There's probably going to be more like, 10 to 100 a month per collaborator. If you say 1 a week, so let's say each collaborator does 1 a week, you've got 10 collaborators, that's 40 a month. That's on average, like, more than 1 a day piece of content that's going to come out. How much content have you put out in the last 30 days. And how much of that was short form video, which, as we know, is the hot topic at the moment. It's the popular medium of choice for marketing. So really think about this, because Collaborators Network is underutilized, it's new, and it's really quite effortless from your perspective. Like, yes, you can go into it really strongly and you can reach out to collaborators and go, oh, hey, I'd love for you to be a part of my Collaborator Network. Here's the link to sign up. You'll get X amount of commission, and you can sell it to them. Get the AI to help you write that message and just start DMing collaborators, and that could help get you started. But once you get a few collaborators going, they can just come in. Like, if one collaborator sees another collaborator making videos about your product, it makes them want to do it too. You start to become the viral trend of the moment, and that can change your life. Like, not just change your business, but change your life, because that just elevates your business to an entirely new level. So yeah, please take advantage of these tools. Shopify is not building these tools because they're not useful. There would be a lot of research, a lot of thought gone into these tools so that they can make you the most money. Because the more money you make, the more money Shopify makes. It's the same as you and the collaborator. They are incentivized for you to do well. So yeah, please think about how you can do that. And that's us. I mean, that was a lot. There was a lot of updates in there. So, hats off to the Shopify team. They've obviously been very busy over the last 6 months, and really excited by the direction that the platform's going. There's some cool AI stuff in there. There's some cool marketing stuff in there. Some cool changes to the way that the storefronts are working. And I can see a big, bright future of Shopify automation. So get involved with that early. So if you think about it, automation is saving you time over the long run. So, whatever you can do, whether you can jump in and just look at it for 5 minutes today, or 20 minutes on the weekend, or, an hour on Sunday if you have the time. Start to understand it, start to play with it, start to see what you can do. Because if you can set up an automation, in 20 minutes and 10 minutes, and it's not long to set these automations up, once you understand it, you're going to save yourself hundreds of hours over the next year. So please spend the 5 hours or less, really, that it's going to take you to understand these automations. And don't just look at it, play with it, touch it. Try it out, these automations. It doesn't have to be an automated email to a customer. It can be an automated email to you. It can be an automated notification. It can be, automated segmentation. It can be automated anything. But you have to play with these features to learn these features. So please just start playing. I guarantee you that once you've spent 5 hours playing across the next 2 months, you could spend half an hour a week tops. And you'll soon stack up that 5 hours. You can spend 10 minutes, every couple of days. When you've got a little bit of downtime, just look at it. Just open it up, add one extra thing in from the last time you were there. And I guarantee you that you're going to save yourself so much time, and you're going to change your business. Right. That's been a long stream. I think that's enough. We can leave that there. But thank you for joining me. I hope that you found that valuable. I hope that you found some of those features exciting. Please leave a comment or DM me and let me know which of those Shopify features that you're most excited about, which ones that you think can help your business the most. And I will see you next week. Thank you for joining me. It was another episode. We must be up to episode 6 now, I think, of Shopify Simplified. Have a good week, everyone.